Hey everybody, welcome to Profit Co-Pilot in full Technicolor today. So this channel is all about helping you to get more independence and freedom through your website or your email list. So if you have one of those, you are in the right place. So hit the subscribe button and you will get more videos from me just like this one, which is going to help you increase your profit online. So today I'm talking about an NLP technique called loops. And we can use these to increase your conversion rates, increase engagement with your audience, and it makes it easier for you to embed hidden commands in your sales copy. So I'm going to tell you all about loops and how you can use them. But first, how do they work? Well, I'm going to give you an actual example in a few minutes. But first, well, we've actually got two types of loops that you can use. I'll tell you more about those in a second. But loops, how they work? Well, they really pull readers in, or listeners or viewers, and then they keep them interested and engaged with your content. How they work is they really put your audience into a minor state of trance, and that's not as complicated or as weird as it sounds. In fact, we go into minor states of trance multiple times every day, often when we do things on autopilot. For example, when you tie your shoelaces, a lot of that routine, that ritual that you do is done on autopilot, and therefore you go into a very, very slight trance during that procedure, during that action. So we can use loops in a similar way to hook people in, get them into a very minor state of trance, and because they're in a state of trance to some degree, their suggestibility levels have increased, and that's how we can embed commands so efficiently. Now, I'm actually going to show you how to make your own loops in this video, but I'm going to pretty much guarantee that you have already seen these loops in action. Think about your favorite TV shows. Think about the cliffhanger ending of these big TV shows. They leave you in a state of suspense and curiosity. You have this desire for closure. That in itself is a loop. They don't finish telling you the full story. They keep you in a state of suspense, so you will tune in the next week. And that's the sole purpose of cliffhangers. They're actually NLP loops. But as I mentioned a second ago, we've actually got two types of loops, at least two types. We've actually got loops, and then in this video I'm going to talk about nested loops. Now, these are stories within a story, and they really take your prospects or your audience on a journey, and they're really good for transitional content. So you can even use them to move your prospects through emotional states. So maybe your prospects are in a state of mind where they don't believe something is possible. They are in a negative state of mind where they see that something is not possible for them to achieve. You can use NLP loops and nested loops to transition them from that mindset to a mindset where they know it is possible and they believe they can achieve the thing that they want to. In fact, if you have a look at most stories, most films, books, fiction books, they use a 3-arc story, and I've actually covered the 3-arc story in a previous video. If you're interested in that, it might be worth going to check that video out. A lot of stories use the nested loop structure, and that is to make sure that the audience becomes engaged with the story and they commit to it on a subconscious level, and then they finish the story, they get to the end. So we can use the same thing in our storytelling or in the content that we create for our audience. And you can use this in sales copy, in video, in emails, in blog posts. Wherever you are creating content, you can use the nested loop structure, which I will show you how to do that and how to put that into action in a second. In fact, I'm going to give you an example script that you can use. But first, to do this properly, you have to know what your audience wants, and you have to know the journey they need to take. So you need to know what kind of results they want to obtain from your content. And then you can use that knowledge to transition them from A to B to C to D to wherever they need to go. So how do you start? Where's the starting point with using nested loops? Well, you can start with a promise. List the benefits, the things that they will achieve if they commit to consuming your story or your content. So you give them a big promise, an end result goal at the very beginning, something that they are aiming for. And then you can move into how or why it works and maybe provide examples for them. And then you move into actionable content, the conclusion, the end result. Now that is a very simple 3-act story that you can use to structure your content. I'm actually going to show you a little diagram that I've made here. Okay, so I'll read out the statement first. I'll show you how to X, Y, Z, and that will be something cool for your audience. But first, and then we go into loop 2, I'll give you an example in a second, but here's how to X, Y, Z. And then we go into loop 3, and tomorrow I'll show you X, Y, Z. A good example of this could be, so this is a very quick, very loose structure that I've just come up with literally a few seconds ago. So I'm going to draw out how this works, and I'm going to give you the diagram here. So obviously this opens the loop. This, but first, connects to a second loop, and then this part closes the first loop. When we go into loop 3, we open up another loop, and then we finish by closing the second loop. And that's how it's done. So you see how that flows, the structure of that. It's very simple once we see it all drawn out in this diagram. So there you go. I hope you found this useful. If you have, hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel. You're going to get another video like this from me tomorrow, and that will help you to improve your website and your email list. It will help you to boost your profit and get better results all over. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again tomorrow.